Why are you still experiencing one too many downtimes with your firewalls? Did you know that over 70% of the problems can be avoided if only you were given enough advance notice? Worse yet, you heard about the problems from your users? Your security environment is complex. It's getting harder to find skilled administrators to effectively manage your infrastructure. You know automation is a solution, but you don't seem to have enough time to dedicate to it. If these problems sound familiar, we can help you. In this demo, we will cover the top 3 reasons why network monitoring tools may not be good enough for your security infrastructure. We will show you how we can accelerate your automation initiative. Let's get started. You shouldn't treat your firewall as a router or a switch because firewalls have unique requirements. For example, routers and switches use routing protocols for redundancy, whereas firewalls use high availability clusters. You deploy firewalls in a clustered environment, either in active-active or active-passive mode. Many switchover problems are caused by configuration out of sync causing outages. For example, if static routes don't match when a failover occurs, chances are you will run into problems. It's critical that you continuously check your configurations to make sure that members within a cluster have synchronized configuration. Indeni checks for a variety of important configurations to ensure high availability. Without Indeni, you would likely schedule switchover events during non-office hours to manually test the procedure to ensure when a problem occurs, a switchover is seamless. If your tool understands the HA context, it can help set the appropriate priority of an incident. For example, if a cluster member goes down, it's not that big of a deal because other members within the cluster can pick up the load. That's why Indeni sets the alert as a warning. When you have time, you can investigate why a member goes down. On the other hand, if a cluster goes down, it's a big deal because it's definitely impacting service. That's why Indeni sets the alert as critical so you can take immediate corrective actions. The other reason why it is important to understand this active-passive relationship is that if the device is in passive mode, many of the interfaces will be inactive by design. Failing to understand this context results in false positives. This is where monitoring tools fall short. Without understanding the HA clustered environments, they mistakenly alert on an inactive HA interface. Monitoring tools are very noisy when it comes to HA clustered environments. Number 2 reason why monitoring tools may not be good enough. It's a challenge when you find out about a service outage from a user, even more so when that user is the big boss. Detecting issues before they get noticed by users is expected from your organization. Despite the fact that you may have many tools deployed in your environment, many firewall issues still go undetected. This is one of the top concerns we often hear from enterprises. Modern monitoring tools rely on SNMP as the main data source, while switches and routers typically have comprehensive MIB instrumentation. It's not always the case with security devices. For example, a BGP peer down event means you lose connectivity to the internet. Definitely service impacting. Unfortunately, a checkpoint firewall doesn't have a predefined object for BGP down. This means you won't get notified when your peer goes down, even though this event is service disrupting. We even go a step further by performing automated troubleshooting the moment we detect a peer down scenario. We first determine if the connection is L2 or L3. If it's L3, we check whether the remote peer is pingable. If not, we check to see if the path to the next hop is correct. Check to see if connection to port 179 can be established. If not, we determine ARP protocol to the next hop router, and so on and so forth. As you can see, this is quite a list of automated troubleshooting steps we perform, all without any human intervention, to collect pertinent information about the problem to hopefully get to the root cause of the problem. By the way, detecting states is just one of the conditions you need to check. You also need to ensure that BGP routes are active and not hidden. Hidden routes means the routing process knows about them because it got information from the BGP peer. But it is not passing this information along to the routing table. Beyond just going the extra mile to check for hidden routes, we offer a great explanation of possible root causes that are common so you can take corrective actions. We spoke about HA scenarios. See this check here. If the device is a passive device, not having an active route is okay. But not having an active route on an active cluster member is not okay. Indeni has this context. What that means is that our alert is of higher fidelity, and it's also a way to keep the noise level down. And the third reason why you want to rethink your monitoring solution. Ensuring your firewall is operating as intended requires more than just monitoring the device. Firewalls have dependency on many services, both internal and external. For example, a Palo Alto Networks firewall requires continuous access to your on-premise Active Directory for identity awareness to make the forwarding decision. You need to constantly monitor the connectivity to the identity server. Another example is logging. You want to be sure that logs are sent to the logging server for auditing or troubleshooting reasons. External services are equally important, especially with cyber attacks on the rise. You want to ensure that your firewall is getting near real-time dynamic updates from sophisticated threat intelligence data feeds, such as wildfire connected cloud, URL filtering cloud, antivirus, and content updates. You want the tool to continuously check to ensure that the connectivity to these clouds is up all the time and alert you immediately for issues. Palo Alto Networks firewalls also connect to external servers hosting external dynamic lists of IP addresses, URLs, domains, etc. The capability is known as Extended Dynamic List, a very common feature among enterprises. The firewalls dynamically import these objects at a regular interval for policy enforcement. Besides just ensuring the firewall can connect to these external servers, we go an extra mile to ensure that EDL doesn't reach its capacity and that these files are not empty by mistake. To summarize, in this demo, you saw that monitoring is just one aspect of operating your firewalls. With high availability, you need to constantly ensure that the configuration among the cluster members is synchronized. This can be automated, so when a switchover occurs, you won't run into any issues. You saw how network automation such as auto triage will improve the mean time to recovery. And you need to look beyond just monitoring the device. Services are equally important to firewalls. Indeni is more than just a firewall monitoring tool. It provides security infrastructure automation with unmatched visibility. We've automated the world's best practices to deliver predictive, prioritized, and actionable insight that help you prevent costly disruptions. Thank you for watching.